Alright guys, sorry about that. My battery died. Here I'm using not a phone, but anyway, different kind of camera to do this recording, and the battery couldn't quite make it. So let's just review what we did. Okay, so I moved the negative, I dealt with the negative exponents, I put all the exponents in their proper places, and now I'm doing the distribution. I distributed this term to the first term here, and now I'm distributing it to the second term, remembering that I multiply across the numerators. 1 times z times y to the fourth x cubed is just going to be z y to the fourth x cubed. And my denominator is y x cubed. Okay, when I see this now, okay, there are a couple of different things that I can do here. Okay, I could, because I have the same denominator, I could add these straight across, right? So that's one way I could do it, and then I could go ahead and get rid of whatever are duplicate variables. Or I can get rid of the duplicate variables right now. So I think that that's what I'm going to do, and then I'll just end up with a simplified expression. So if I have a y here and a y here, those two cancel each other out. I have an x here and an x cubed here, so this x is going to go away, and this is going to become x squared. So this term simplifies down to z to the fifth over x squared. Plus, let's go ahead and do the same thing here. I have a y here and 4 y's up here. So this one goes away and this one is reduced by 1. All right, so this is going to become y cubed. And I've got x cubed and x cubed, so let's just go away completely. And I end up with zy cubed. Z y cubed. They don't have common denominators, and so I am done. That is the full simplification of this expression. All right, for number 9, we're going to determine which of the values below are part of the solution set to this inequality. Okay, so what that means is I'm going to take each one of these numbers, so I'm going to need to do 5 calculations because I need to test 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 in this equality. I'm going to substitute those in for x to see which ones make the expression true. So let's go ahead and begin with the first one. All right, we're going to start with 0. Negative 4 plus 3 times 0 is less than 8. Is that true? Okay, negative 4 plus 0, because 3 times 0 is 0. Negative 4, which just basically means negative 4 is less than 8. Is that true? Yes. Okay, that one's true. Next one we're going to give a try is 1. So negative 4 plus 3 times 1 is less than 8. Is that true? Negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1, which is less than 8. That's true. All right, let's try the next one. Negative 4 plus 3 times 2 is less than 8. Negative 4 plus 6 is 2, right? Negative 4 plus 6 is 2, so that one is true. All right, we did that one. All right, how about 3? Let's put that one in for x, and we get negative 4 plus 3 times 3 is less than 8. Negative 4 plus 9 is 5, which is less than 8. So that one's a go. That one's a yes. Let's try the last one. The number 4, negative 4 plus 3 times 4 is less than 8. Negative 4 plus 12 is 8. Right, guys? Is 8 less than 8? No. Okay, so this one, 4, is not an answer. It is not a value that satisfies the solution set. When I answer this, I'm going to rewrite the set to say which ones are solutions, which were 0, 1, 2, and 3. 0, 1, 2, 3, close the brackets, and you got it. Those values are part of the solution set that satisfy this inequality. All right. Number 10, let's find the least common multiple of 8, 9, and 12. Be careful that you remember the difference between least common multiple and greatest common factor. Least common multiple means that each one of these numbers goes into a bigger number, right? Evenly with no remainder. So our least common multiple has to be bigger than these three numbers. To find it, we need to get to our prime factorization. So if I do the prime factorization for 8, I get 2 times 2 times 2. Prime factorization for 9 is 3 times 3. And the prime factorization for 12 is going to be 3. And if I make this a 4 and I can see it, it's 2 and 2. When I'm trying to find least common multiple, I remember that I want to look at each one of these prime factorizations and I pick the factor that is represented the most, okay, and I use that number of them. So as I look and I see that the prime factorization of 8 is 2, 2, and 2. I don't have any 2's here. I do have 2's here. I've got 2 of them. But the one that was represented the most is here. This is where 2 was represented the most. So I'm going to use 3 2's because that has its greatest representation right there. I already know there's 2 in here, so I've got enough here. This is the one that I need to represent. Okay, great. So I've got my 2's represented. Here, the other prime factor that I see in common is a 3. In the 12, it's represented once. In the 9, it's represented twice. So this is where it's represented the most, so I need to include 2 3's. When I multiply 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3, I get 72. That's the answer. I need to see this on your test, not just 72, okay, for you to get full credit for this answer. If you give me just the least common multiple and it says 72 on there, you'll get 1 point for that, but you won't get the points that are available for showing me both the process and the calculations. All right, so this is what I'm looking for. Number 11, what is the solution to the system of equations y equals 3x minus 2 and y equals 2x plus 7? There's a few different ways we could do this, but if we really have our math brains engaged here, I'm going to see that both of these say y equals. If y is equal to this and y is equal to this, then they're equal to each other. Okay, so I would set them next to each other this way. 3x minus 2 equals 2x plus 7, and I'm going to solve for x. Remember, the solution to a system of equations is not one number, it's 2. It's an x value and a y value. So I'm going to first solve for x, and I'm going to take my x and stick it back in one of these guys and find y. But let's do this one first. I know I don't have a ton of space here, so bear with me. I'm going to do some of the work over here. I want to move the 2 over out of here, get it out of here, and put it over here. And I want x's on one side and constants on the other. I'm going to take this 2x, I'm going to get it out of here, and I'm going to subtract it over here to end up with 3x minus 2x is x equals 7 plus 2, which is 9, because I got rid of these and I got rid of these, and that's what I have left over. Cool. Not done yet. I need to know what y equals. So I'm going to take my x value, and I'm going to throw it back in. Let's go ahead and just put it in here. Okay, and I get y equals 3 times 9 minus 2, which is 27 minus 2, which is 25. Okay, y equals 25. I'll put that over here. Please write your answer in the form of an ordered pair, where x comes first and y comes second. Here is my answer. That's the solution to the system of equations. These two equations will both be true. They will both be satisfied when x is 9 and y is 25. Okay, for number 12, we're going to determine the slope of the line that contains the points shown in the table. So I've got a few different points here to choose from. I've got an ordered pair 1, 3, a 5, 9, and a 9, 15, and I know that slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Please write this on your test. When we take test 12, make sure that I see the process, okay, that you understand how to find slope. Now again, as long as we're consistent, where this is, let's say I want this to be y2, okay, and I want this to be x2, let's just say that. and I want this to be y1, and I want this to be x1. Just make sure that you're consistent with which one is which. So let's say I want that to be y2. I'm going to say 9 minus y1, which is 3. x2, that's what I decided, that this pair right here is going to represent the 2's, and this pair is going to represent the 1's. Okay, so here's x1, which is 1 minus 1, and I get 6 over 4, which is 3 over 2. So that's the slope of the line that passes through those points. I could have used this coordinate pair if I wanted to. Just pick 2 of them, okay, and decide which ones are going to be your 2's and which ones are going to be your 1's. Number 13, a clothing store is having a sale of 35% off all shirts. What is the discount and the new price? So this is going to be a 2-part answer of a shirt that originally costs $58. So first I need to find what is the discount. So it's 35% off of 58. When I have a percent, I'm going to take this decimal point and I'm going to move it 2 spaces to the left. And I will take the cost here, which is $58, and I will multiply it by that. I'm going to do it in parentheses so we don't get confused with X's and dots and all the things. Okay, and that will give me my discount. So 58 times 0.35, 35% of 58 is $20.30. That's the discount. Okay, it's not the new price, it's just the discount. To find the new price, I'm going to take the total original costs, $58, and subtract the discount, $20.30, to get the new price. And when I do that, 58 minus 20.3, I get $37.70 is the new price. Some of you guys on your tests have been, if you get an answer like this, it's like 37.7, that's what your calculator gives you. You write 37.7, which is true, but not accurate for money. Remember, we need to have a tenths and a hundredths place, so don't forget the 0 there so that you make your dollars and cents make sense. Number 14, translate the sentence below into an inequality. All right, so 0.625 is less than the sum of negative 1.5 and a number. So I have to think about this. Sum means I'm adding negative 1.5 and a number. So it's less than the sum of negative 1.5 and a number. I'll just represent that with the variable n. All right, that's it. Just as simple as that. Number 15, find the slope of the vertical line. You should be able to look at this and tell me, okay, what the slope of this vertical line is. The slope of every single vertical line is undefined. If you just write undefined, that will be 1 point for the right answer. However, you can prove this by showing me the following work. Remember that m, slope, equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Remember that when the denominator is 0, the slope is undefined. So we should end up with a 0 here, and that should prove that it's an undefined slope. I need to pick, and I can pick any 2 points on this line that I want. All right, so I'm going to pick this one and this one. All right, I'm going to call this x1, y1. I'm going to call this one x2, y2. X, okay, is 1, 2, 3, 1. 3, 1. And this one here is 3, 3. When I put those points in, okay, so here's y2 right here, 1 minus here's y1, 3, over x2, 3, minus x1, 3. I get negative 2 over 0. Dun, dun, dun. Whenever there's a 0 in the denominator, right, we know that a 0 in the denominator makes a slope undefined. If the 0 had been in the numerator, the slope would have been 0, but it's not. It's in the denominator. So that lives in the sad land of undefined. Okay, number 16. What number is 144% of 24? What number is 144% of 24? We need to remember here, 144%, here's my decimal point, that I'm going to move it 2 places. 1, 2, right there. And I want to know then this of translates to multiplied, right? So what is basically 1.44 times 24? 144% of 24 we would calculate by doing 1.44, which you're welcome to do on your calculator, times 24, and we get 34.56. Please show me all of this work, okay, for a full credit answer. This is the answer. All right, gang, almost done. A fruit stand sells 4 pounds of oranges for $3. Graph the relationship and use the graph to estimate the cost of 7 pounds of fruit. Okay, here we go. So we know, and we could do this by creating a t-table with our x values and our y values. Okay? And this is going to have a direct relationship, meaning when one variable increases, the other one does too. Because if the fruit stand is selling 4 pounds of oranges for $3, then it's going to sell 7 pounds of oranges for more than $3, right? That price is going to go up. So when one variable goes up, the other one also goes up. So what we know right now is that when the fruit stand sells 4 pounds, I'm going to put that right here. When it sells 4 pounds of oranges, it charges $3. Okay, I know that. So I can plot that point on my line, right? So I can go over 4 and up 3. I know that's the point. And I'm trying to figure out, what is it going to be at 7? What's it going to be at 7? So let's see if we can figure out how this relationship is working. Now, if you want to tap into the information and the formulas that we've just used, and you understand how direct variation works, okay? And remember, direct variation is y equals kx. Y equals kx. Then I can find what k is. I can find what the variation is because I've got an x and a y. My y is 3. K, which is the slope. I don't know what the slope of this thing is yet. Whatever that is. Oh, don't put x there. Put the value for x, which is 4. To find k, I'm going to divide by 4, get it out of here. And I know that the slope of this line is 3 over 4. That means rise over run. Up 3, 1, 2, 3, over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's going to be the same the other direction. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's going to go right here through the origin. So here is my line. Okay? And I did that because I understood that this is a direct variation. When one variable goes up, the other one does too. And I know the formula for that. Y equals kx. So if I was going to, it says estimate the cost of 7 pounds using my graph. I know it's a little over $5, but not quite 6. It's not quite in the middle. So I'm guessing here that this is about $5.25, something like that. Okay, but I can test that because I know this formula right here, right? because I know what k is now, I just need to figure out, and I know what y is. No, excuse me, I know what x is because they're asking me for 7 pounds. How much money is that? Now I've got k and I've got x. I need to figure out what y is. Y equals 3/4 times 7, which is 21 over 4, which equals, how close was I? 5 1/4. Sweet. So I was right. Okay, 5 1/4 dollars is $5.25. Now, if I had wanted to, I could have put in some other values here, right? Or I could have done it this way. Okay, I could have done it this way as well. I could have, I could have used, now listen guys, if you want to do it this way, fine. If you want to do it in the way where we determine if this is an arithmetic sequence, remember how we did that? Where we're like, hey, if this is $4 for $3, then let's just reason this out for a second. What would they sell 2 pounds for? They'd sell it for half of this, right? It's a direct variation. So they sell it for half of $3, which is $1.50. So what would they sell, let's say, 6 pounds for? So if it's $1.50 for every 2 pounds, and then it's $3 for 4 pounds, it's going to be $1.50 more, right? For 6 pounds, so that's going to end up being $4.50. And if I wanted to say what's 8, what would they say they sell 8 pounds for? Okay, because I'm looking at the pattern that's happening here. I knew they sold 4 pounds for $3, which means 2 pounds is for $1.50. So 4 pounds is $3, then 8 pounds is twice that, right? 8 pounds is going to be $6. So I could have taken any of the points on this line, subtracted them, found the slope that way instead of doing it like this. Okay, so once I figured out what the pattern was here, and I just did that through just reasoning. I knew that if it was 4 pounds for $3, then it was 2 pounds for half that. Okay, so I could have used, for instance, those 2 points, and I could have done my y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and I could have gotten the slope, or this k, I could have gotten it the same way. So this would have been 3 minus 1.5 over 4 minus 2, which would have given me 1.5 over 2, which when I do that math would have given me the exact same slope, okay, which would have been 3/4 this right here. So I could have calculated it that way as well. So you think through it and think through how you want to solve it. This is the way that makes the most sense to me. If they give you an x and a y, then put them into this formula to find k. K is the constant. Then, once you've got that, once you know what k is, then when they ask you to find a different y based on whatever x they give you, put the x in, you know what k is, and it'll spit out the y. Okay? So lots of different ways to think through that problem. All right. That one was a little bit trickier just because we had so many options to consider. This one, we don't have as many options for. Okay? Determine the slope and the y-intercept of this equation, which means I want it to be in slope-intercept form, because I want to see clearly what is the slope, m, and what is the y-intercept, b. So my answer is going to look like this. And I got to figure out what those things are. In order to do that, I'm going to take this equation and I'm going to rewrite it in this form. Okay? So here we go, 4x plus 8y equals 32. I need y by itself, so I'm going to move this x. So I'm going to subtract it from here, and I'm going to subtract it from here, and I'm going to end up with 8y equals negative 4x. I'm putting the x's out in front, guys, because I want it in that form here. And I've got a positive 32. I need to divide every single term by 8. And I end up with y equals negative 1/2 x, okay, because I just reduced -4/8 to -1/2, and 32 divided by 8 is 4. Now I have what I need to fill in the blanks for what the slope and the y-intercept are. Y equals m, that's the slope, x plus b, that's the y-intercept. So m is -1/2, b is 4. Ta-da! That's the answer. Number 19, you decide to sell your Pokemon card collection. You sell 2 for $9 and 3, so I'm going to sell 2 of them for $9 and 3 for $12. What will you charge for 5 Pokemon cards if you keep selling at the same rate? Okay, etc. Here, so what is this going to be if I keep selling at the same rate? Question is this an arithmetic sequence? Answer, yes it is. Take a look at this. When you sold 2, you sold them for $9, and when you sold 3, you increased by $3. So this was plus $3. So that means when you want to sell 4, you're going to go from $12 to what? Another $3. Add another $3 and you're going to get 15 for 4. That's not what they're asking us. They're asking us how much for 5. So add another $3 and you're going to get 18. Okay, so that is your answer. At this rate, 5 cards will sell for $18. If you want to use your formula for arithmetic sequence, you can, but this is enough for me. If I can see that you can see the pattern there and you're making your way, okay, up card by card, because you saw that it just went up from 2 cards to 3 cards, which is a 1 card difference. It was $3. Then make sure you show me all the things in between there and then get your final answer. Okay, so that's the work I need to see. Last problem. The table shows the science scores for 2 classes at school. Does Class A or Class B have a greater range of scores for the science test? Range is going to equal the highest score minus the lowest score. That's going to give me the spread or the range. Okay, so let's look at Class A. First of all, we need to find the lowest score, and then we need to find the highest score. So I've got a 56. That's looking pretty low so far. Anything lower than 56? No. That's the low. Now I need to find the high. Okay, I've got some scores in the 90s. I got a 94. Anything higher than a 94? Nope. So that's the high. So the range for Class A is going to be 94 minus 56. I do that math and I'm going to get a total of 38. That's the range for Class A. Let's check out Class B. I need to find again the highest score and the lowest score. Okay, so I've got a 57. Anything lower than 57, 59? Nope, 57 is it. And what's the highest score? 80, 80, 90, 95. Woo, 98. 98 is the highest score. 57 is the lowest score. Total spread, the range of scores is 98 minus 57 is 41. So my conclusion, because it says which one has the greater range of scores, so I'm going to write it in a sentence. Class B has a greater range of scores. All right, guys, best of luck on Test 12. I'm looking forward to seeing you soon, but we've got a few more lessons in between. So I trust that you are being wonderful students to Mrs. Bryden, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all when I get back. But your next assignment is to knock Test 12 out of the park, and I can't wait to see how you do.